Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to take some time to talk about a card that I beat up on a lot. Why? Because I feel it deserves it. It is, to me, a card that is just fine, that just does the bare minimum when it could be a lot better. And that card is the Chase Sapphire Preferred. Now, Chase recently updated their deal with DoorDash to extend the deal with DashPass on the Sapphire Reserve and Sapphire Preferred until the end of 2027. And they gave the Sapphire Preferred a new $10 a month grocery credit for DoorDash orders. And if we use the full value of that credit now, and we use the full value of the $50 hotel credit using the Chase Travel Portal, now the card has $170 in credits versus a $95 annual fee, which does lead to some speculation. I'll come back to that at the end. But does this change the way that I view the card? Potentially. I don't think it's a necessarily strong card. I still think that there are cards that earn the exact same rate as the Sapphire Preferred and give better benefits than the Sapphire Preferred at no annual fee. And the reason that we pay $95 for the Sapphire Preferred is not the multipliers, is not necessarily the primary CDW, is not necessarily the travel protections, although those are better than most other $95 cards. The only reason that we're paying $95 is the ability to transfer to partners, be that United or Southwest, or if we're playing life on easy mode, Hyatt. But we're paying $95 just for the access to transfer partners. Why do I say that? Because if you compare the Sapphire Preferred to the Bilt MasterCard, the Bilt MasterCard has the exact same multipliers. Now, Bilt has done a lot of dumb things in the last 4 or 5 months that their corporate communications team should be pretty ashamed of. Like, the way that they're communicating things right now is not good. And this isn't a video about Bilt, but just wanted to throw that out there. The Sapphire Preferred and the Bilt card offer the same earning structure. 3 times points on dining, 2 times points on travel, 1 times points on everything else. Now, the Sapphire Preferred also gives you 3 times points on streaming activities, 3 times points on online grocery, and 5 times points on hotels and rental cars booked through the Chase Travel Portal. That's all well and good. Oh, and it also gives you 5 times points on Lyft. Whereas the Bilt card also does 5 times points on Lyft when you book Lyft with your Bilt card. So that's a wash. But at $95 as opposed to $0, the Bilt card also gives you access to transfer partners, most of the same transfer partners that Chase has. Unique transfer partners to Chase compared to Bilt would be Southwest, would be Singapore, would be... I'm blanking after Southwest and Singapore, because both have Air Canada, both have United, both have Hyatt. Although, let's see what happens with the Hyatt contract in Bilt. That is Bilt's first real test of legitimacy, because they lost the American Airlines contract, they lost the Hawaiian contract, but they got a quick out with that with the Alaska merger. Now the Hyatt contract, when that is up, if that doesn't get renewed, Bilt's in a lot of trouble. I'm going to put that out there right now. But you get a lot of value for no annual fee, even with all the unnecessary warts that have grown with the Bilt card, that you don't get for $95 with the Sapphire Preferred. I didn't even cover the cell phone protection, which Bilt has and Chase doesn't. Now, Chase's travel protection is usually pretty good. They're also getting an upgrade on October 1st, a seeming upgrade on October 1st, and they're going to be using a different company for insurance claims and things like that. So that aspect of things appears to be getting better, at least from where we stand right now. We'll have to see after October 1st. But the card overall has gotten a bit more valuable, but I still am not sure that it's a card with the earning structure that it has compared to the no annual fee Freedom cards and the $550 annual fee Reserve card, that the earning structure doesn't make sense to me, at least to me. Now, this is all my opinion, obviously, but I still think there's room to do those better. And there's a world where Chase could decide to make their cards work together with how you spend, and for Chase to want you to collect their cards and use only their ecosystem. But that world does not exist currently. So what do I think can happen with the card? Now, I think the card overall and what it offers is generally fine. I think there's more you could do for a mid-tier travel card. I think match some of its competitors with things that would make it better overall. If the Sapphire Preferred had the Wells Fargo Autograph Journeys $50 airline credit instead of the in-portal credit, or if they took the travel credit on the Sapphire Preferred and just made it a $50 whatever you want travel credit that is as expansive as the Sapphire Reserves, less people would complain about that credit. More people would get full value out of that credit. So that's one thing I think could be better. It's there. It's nice. It's fine. It is what it is. I think the DoorDash credit will be underutilized on that card and people aren't going to value it enough. People will use the DoorDash credit on the Sapphire Reserve. I think they're going to struggle to find a way to use it as consistently on the Sapphire Preferred. But if you do get full value out of it, that's $120 right there. So $120 plus $50, now it's $170 in value on a $95 annual fee card. So now the value that you're getting is exceeding the annual fee. Again, if you use all of the credits all year. If you don't use the credits, obviously you're not going to make up that annual fee in value. So I think that if they're able to get folks to use that DoorDash credit monthly and they're able to get folks to use that $50 credit, make that $50 credit easier, that would be great. The other thing I think that they could look at from the $95 cards and can borrow from would be the fact that the Venture card from Capital One. Now, the Venture card is not a card that I hold in high esteem either, just because that card got absolutely cannibalized by the Venture X. But the one thing that it does have is TSA PreCheck and global entry. So a global entry credit on the Sapphire Preferred would be great. I think them taking the Wells Fargo approach with either an airline credit or a general travel credit from the Sapphire Reserve would be great. And so there's ways that I can look at and see that the Sapphire Preferred is lagging. That would just be better overall. And now that they've got this $170 in potential value for you, there is space to move from $95 to a higher annual fee and give even more benefits. And I think that if they took that route, it would be a much better overall card, potentially, than what we have now. Now, I still think the earnings on this card need to be restructured. I think the earnings across the board with Chase need to be restructured. But be that as it may, the Sapphire Preferred has gotten incrementally better. It is a card that I liken to students in high school who know that they're really smart, who know that they can test really well, who know that at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about homework. It's not necessarily about being the kid that has to answer every question. It's about being the kid who at the end of the day scores really high on tests, because things have gotten to a point where it's just about test scores. So it's the kid that knows that it can do just enough to get by. And it should be so much more than that, especially when you have the Sapphire Reserve, which is a much better card. And you've got the competition at $95, all with their own flaws. That, they could take a step up to $150, or at $95, they could look to revamp some things, offer some things that seem to be affordable at $95, and still come out much further ahead. Like, even if most people don't use the full DoorDash credit, enough people could use that credit to offset the ability to add PreCheck, to add 2 passes a year to the Sapphire Lounges, or something along those lines, right? As Sapphire Lounges actually open. The other thing that I'm annoyed at Chase with is how slow these lounges have taken. But I think there's room to grow for the Sapphire Preferred. And I'd like to think that there is room to grow. But I am worried that Chase will just continue coasting because they can and they choose to. But overall, I think the changes to the Sapphire Preferred, the minimal change that has happened with the insurance and the DoorDash credit, make it a better card. Still a card that I'm going to lob as a $95, not necessarily worth your time card. But if it is the means for which you want to use to access transfer partners through Chase, okay, I get it. But you're paying a $95 service fee to access transfer partners. The card itself is not necessarily good. It's gotten a little better. but I still think that there's plenty of changes that can be made. So, yeah, I just wanted to take some time, kind of reflect on the changes that have happened recently with the Sapphire Preferred. Nobody's really talked about those changes in depth, and just give another perspective of this card could be good, should be good. Chase chooses not to make this card good, and that bothers me. That's kind of my theme with Chase. Like, they could be so much better, but the ink train is a gravy train that lets them get away with this. So, anyway, if you like what I do, hit the like and subscribe button. If you want to tell me how wrong I am, let me know down in the comments. I'll be glad to hear it. If you want to become a channel member, check out the Tidbits Collectors. That is my one and only channel membership. And ways to support me outside of YouTube are in the pinned comment down below. That would be my Ko-fi, buy me a coffee, tip, those general tip jars, things like that. So, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.